Bangladesh. The most densely populated river delta on Earth. People here have waited years for what it might deliver. The people threatened by ever more devastating flood and sea level rising. In the last 15 years the frequency of flooding has increased significantly. Floods were coming in every 5, 6, 7 years of ratio. Now every alternate year there are floods. Unpredictable floods which is washing away all the savings which a farmer has put into his soil, and life is so difficult in this land. In this year 2024, 22nd of August, flood attacked without any signal. When this attack has caught the people off guard, the countrymen were trying with all their might to help the flood affected, and meanwhile, floodwater started rushing in over Khulna. For this overwhelming flood situation, the dams are to blame. Some in different country, some in our own. Each family owning a small plot of land with which they have to live, and the climax comes. Because the climax is when floods start and this land starts breaking everything that they have built. Slowly in front of their eyes is just broken and taken away. Neither is there stability of their life, nor of their economic position, not even the soil under them. It is not the question of living comfortably, it is the question of life and death. All were sleeping peacefully in their quite familiar homes. Suddenly something wakes them up. They look around, water has surrounded them, but how did this happen? Where did this water come from? Suddenly, they couldn't recognize their familiar abode anymore. Time starts to flow like water, in the same pace, the rhythm. It seems like this is a guerrilla attack. Without any warning it all came down. Everyone starts running in all directions. What to do, who to protect, what to leave, what is more important, these questions start flooding people's mind, and they see all that they have grasped inside the mighty tides. Everything flows past, beyond their sights, beyond the reaches of what they can do. The 22-number polder of Daludi Union of Paikacha Upazila in Khulna district has multiple rivers surrounding it. Haborkali River in the west, Badur Gacha or Vadra River in the east, and Shibsha River flowing in the south. Due to this, the entire polder is encircled with clay dam. The local government member Nirapad Dafadar describe as the rivers lost their navigability due to 4 feet of silt over time. The land inside the dam dropped below the river level. The dam, built in 1967, which was gradually weakening, failed to withstand the tidal pressure of the Badur Gacha or Vadra River and finally succumbed near Kalanagar village at 11 p.m. on August 22. The 200-feet dam was breached by the pressure of the tide and the water rushed in, immediately flooding 13 villages. Carrying their last hope and belongings, most of the people of these 13 villages took shelter in the risen ground of the dam. Outside this, some people sought asylum in the local school, shelter homes, troller, and religious institutions. To sum it up, people hung on to their lives sheltering in wherever they found higher ground. Whilst doing this, they did not abandon their domestic friends, ducks, chickens, cows, goats, sheep, oxen, pigs, cats, dogs, etc. It is known from the description of Anup Bishwas, a local person who was born and brought up in this land. Most of the houses in this region are made of mud, with roofs placed directly on top. Most of them are 40 to 50 years old. Even the youngest house is at least 25 years old. When the water surrounded them from all sides, these walls of earth bowed under the weight of age and surrendered, unable to fight. This surrender is not of defeat, but of dissolution.
ঘরের যে মেঝেটা ভিতটা ইট দিয়ে গাঁথা করতে হবে করে সিমেন্টের
Shukumar Biswas has worked with Najira Kori organization in the region for almost 24 years. According to his experience, conventionally built houses in the region are not sustainable. Due to the coastline and global pollution, the region's air also flows with salty moisture. Presence of brackish water and salt in the air in all regions, even tin, bamboo or brick cement huts or walls corrode quickly, and hence the people of these regions depended on mud walls. But in the last 10 to 12 years, it is not possible to build mud houses due to river silt contain too much sand, which is a new curse for the region. When the water was busy ruling over these 13 villages, that's when the local people dived headstrong into repairing their breached kingdom's border, the dam. Up to 700 feet of the dam was repaired with the help of local people and the government. The torturous ruling of the water came to an end after 10 days. After a long period of waterlogging, the land does wake up properly. But during this time, all one does sees are broken shed, ruined lands. Even after chasing away the neighboring ruler from the state, it is not possible to return to this ruin. They are forced to live in dilapidated shelters built on the embankment with polythene and tarpaulin. Shortage of food and water begins. In the meantime, Britto Arts Trust was gearing up for the second edition of Shohornama project in the city. This time, Britto decided to stand beside the flood-affected community, supporting their cause joined in the Najira Kori organization. Britto had formerly had an initiative called Packer, the Social Kitchen, which aimed to create socialization or exchange of good thoughts through sharing foods. So, we decided this very initiative will be run this time as a Packer, the community kitchen. Alongside the Packer project, Britto came up with an innovative shelter idea for disaster victims, where some architects and artists figured out few possibilities. Trapped by fate for so long, people had to continuously fill their bellies with dry food like flattened rice, puffed rice, jaggery, and biscuits to keep their heart beating, but once in while comes a time when their bodies crave some extra nutrition. A decision was made to providing cooked food summing up to 1 meal a day will be given to 500 people for upcoming 7 days. During this time, Najira Kori engaged massively in carrying out the local management responsibilities. For 40 years, Najira Kori organization has been conducting initiatives and motivating the people of this basin for various social activities. That is why the natural, social and other aspects of the region are familiar to the local workers of this organization. This experience has helped to make the event a success step by step. The journey of a packer began on September 7th by the banks of the Haborkali River in the western part of Harinkala village. The responsibility for cooking was taken on by the locals, led by 4 women and 4 men. Other men and women from the village volunteered to join, and with the aim of equitable distribution of labor, the cooking duties were rotated, giving different individuals the opportunity to participate each day in this communal kitchen. Packer is a unique blend of socialization and cooperation. Here, there are no religious divisions, and no dominance of male strength. In a single pot, the labor of men and women, Hindus and Muslims, comes together to create an extraordinary dish, becoming a meal for everyone. In this polder number 22, approximately 18,000 people from around 4,500 families live across 13 villages. While it's not possible to ensure meals for everyone from this kitchen, it has been possible to take responsibility for feeding the elderly, children, pregnant mothers and the extremely poor in 8 of the villages. The food meant for one person has found its place in the stomachs of 2, united by the bond of harmony. On one side, cooking was going on in the packer, while on the other, the receding water was calling for preparations for the future. One batch of crop has already been lost to flooding, so if the land isn't occupied quickly, this season will be lost, and that would make the coming days dire. If that happens, it won't be possible to rebuild the house anew. After all, the money from selling this crop will be used to repay the loan taken for rebuilding the house and for the new rice seedlings. Prioritizing this ecosystem, everyone in the village gets to work gathering amun rice seedlings. There isn't enough time left to create seedlings from a seedbed and then plant them in the fields. Additionally, it's not enough to just bring seedlings from anywhere. They must come from a nearby area within this watershed, where the soil and water types are similar to those of the fields. While the women line up in the packer to collect food, the men are busy nurturing rows of rice in the fields for future meals. Gradually, the entire landscape is covered again with a fresh blanket of tender greens. People from various villages have walked 4 to 7 kilometers to reach the packer to collect food. For someone who has come from 7 kilometers away, the entire journey totals an experience of 14 kilometers. As fellow travelers on the same path, they have found companions along the way, and through stories and conversations, fatigue has been overcome. In the midst of harsh conditions, laughter, jokes, and songs turn the packer into a fountain of joy. Even in the face of strong winds and harsh rain, everyone seems to forget, for a moment, the devastating calamities happening around them. While sharing joy and sorrow in the packer, they also weave garlands of future plans. As the 7 days of the packer progress, the heat from the stove begins to radiate beneath the worn-out shelters. There is still a long time before returning home, and until then, these people must strive to exist under this fragile tent. In the meantime, 2 days of heavy unrelenting rain, the newly planted rice seedlings have once again submerged. The Badur Gacha or Vadra River swells and threatens to break through the embankment. As everyone gathers with renewed determination, relying on previous lessons, to sound the battle drum for a new fight against erosion. If they fail once, they won't back down in this struggle. They have not learned to accept defeat, and bowing their heads is out of the question. With time, their homesteads will gradually become habitable again, built on the hopes of a new day. Meanwhile, with the gratitude and love of thousands of people, we leave behind a unique story of hopes, dreams, and convictions. A story that has a beginning but no one knows where it ends.